Hey, I'm Sakura, and I was born to the coolest parents ever. Before I go on, please hit like and subscribe. My parents were immigrants from Japan who built a successful business in America and gave my brother Dean and me the best life ever. Growing up, I was a straight-A student, and my dad always said I'd be a great doctor someday. It was his dream, only I knew the real reason. He loved Grey's Anatomy. I was too young to know what I wanted, but I loved making different sculptures out of anything I could find around me. When Mom noticed how good I was, she took me to the best workshops. Once when I was 6, we went to Spain for a vacation. I dragged everyone to see the famous Memel sculpture. It was the best day of my life.
Oh my God, why would anyone make such a big spider? Yeah, I'm surprised you like it even though you're terrified of everything that crawls.
I know, but I think it's beautiful. At least that's the meaning of it. It shows how the spider protects her babies even though she looks so delicate because of her thin legs.
People around me who heard me were surprised, and the tour guide told me that my observation was correct. Dad looked so proud at that moment.
See? My Sakura is so smart. And you both thought it was just some ugly spider. You should spend your free time with her and learn facts like this.
While Dad treated me like a princess, we all know who the real royalty was. Dean. And he knew that as well. He was 10 years older than me and always got on my nerves. One time when I was 8, Dean caught me eating cookie dough and started to laugh like crazy.
Your mouth, you stuffed it all in your mouth. You look like the panda from the movie Kung Fu Panda.
Mom, Dean's making fun of me. He called me a panda.
Then stop stuffing your face like that.
And stop blaming your brother for everything. Now help me in the kitchen, will you? He always makes fun of me and you never tell him anything. It's like you don't love me at all.
It's not that she doesn't love you. She just loves me more than you.
Dean snickered in the corner, making ugly faces at me, and I felt so mad. He was annoying, just like every older brother. But he was also very protective of me and cared for me. Once I was getting ready for school when I saw the biggest lizard ever and let out an ear-splitting scream.
Sakura, are you all—
Lizard! Lizard! Big, fat, staring at me! Lizard! It's so creepy! Get it out! Save me!
Really? Did you howl because of a lizard? And you liked that creepy spider statue? Wow.
He did chase the lizard away, but kept making fun of the way I had screamed for days. When I was in the 4th grade, it was time for Dean to go to university, and Mom was a sobbing mess.
I'll keep visiting, Mom, don't worry. And before you know it, I'll be here for Christmas. You better get your gift ready because I already have yours.
Dean and I had a tradition of exchanging Christmas gifts on the roof with a cup of hot chocolate. When he visited for the holidays, I was over the moon. I was so looking forward to opening gifts with my brother. But 2 days before Christmas, I heard something crash in my parents' room. I ran upstairs and saw Dad and Dean having a yelling contest while Mom cried inconsolably.
You have ruined my name, this family's name. You brought him up and this is how he turned out. Don't talk to Mom that way, it's not her fault. You have the nerve to talk back to me? You…
Dad stopped mid-sentence when his eyes met mine. Seeing me, Dean rushed out of the room, but I followed him. Why were you fighting with Dad?
It's nothing, Sakura. I failed my exam, so Dad was angry.
I tried to talk to Dean after that, but he shut himself in his room. I knew what would make him happy, the present. I waited for him on the roof, but he didn't show up. The next day when I went to his room, Mom told me he'd left for his university while I was asleep. I couldn't believe he'd broken our tradition. How could he do this? I immediately called him. You left without saying goodbye.
I'm sorry, Panda. Something came up, but I'll make it up to you, okay? With the best gift ever.
Yay, cool. But what about your gift?
Keep it safe with you for now. I'll take it when I come back home next. Deal?
Deal. But Dean never came back. I waited every year for him, but he missed all the occasions. Every time I called him, he said he was busy. It broke my heart. With time, I got used to not having Dean around and started concentrating on making Dad proud. Soon, I was 18 and going to medical school. I was excited, but not as excited as my dad. He was over the moon. I tried my best, but being a medical student was tough. and before I knew it, I was failing my classes. Dad was gonna be so mad. I remembered how he was fuming at Dean for failing. My fear got the best of me, and I asked my tech-savvy roommate to make me a fake report card with an A+ grade, and she did a fab job. I wish I had this talent. That weekend when I went home, Dad looked at me with a poker face as he saw my result. Dad, look, I'm the smartest in my class.
You could have done a better job, Sakura.
I'll do better and get better grades, don't worry.
No, I mean with this Photoshop work.
Blood drained from my face as I saw Dad looking like he was going to explode.
Your professor called me and told me you failed your semester exams. I got your original report card a few days ago.
Dad, I'm so sorry.
You better be. Do you know how much money I spent for you to get into that college? Not only did you fail, you're also lying. How could you?
I flinched at how loud Dad's voice had gotten and saw Mom run into the room. It's just, medical school is really tough, and I knew you'd get mad at me if I failed. I got stressed out, Dad. I don't think I'm made for this. I want to drop out.
Drop out? Have you lost your mind? Life is tough, Sakura. If I had to quit every time I was stressed, we would be homeless now. And what would you do if you quit medical school?
I could get into sculpting. I'm really good at it. If you could just see that, maybe you'll agree with me too.
You want to make clay dolls? No way. You better get your grades up soon. Listen to me carefully, Sakura. If you decide to leave med school, you will not come back to this house. Understood?
His words really angered me, and I snapped. Loud and clear, Dad. Loud and clear. With that, I packed my stuff and went straight to my aunt's place. Aunt Lexi was my mom's younger sister. She was the cool aunt of the family and lived by herself in a big villa. I told her everything, and she gave me a big hug and sent me to my room. When she called me for dinner, my jaw dropped at seeing Dean sitting in front of me. Dean, what are you doing here?
Hi, Panda. I missed you so much.
Dean hugged me while I cried.
Ew, you're getting your snot all over my shirt.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dean. I then told Dean about what happened, and he looked sad for me. But I had only one question for him. Why did you stop coming over?
I told you, I was busy with uni and stuff.
It was because Dad and you fought, right? About your…
What? Oh, yeah, because I failed my exams, yeah.
The following week, Dean helped me get admission into the art college I wanted, and I was finally free from med school. Art school was everything I dreamt of, but I was still upset that I couldn't share this joy with Mom and Dad. Dean and Aunt Lexi always tried to cheer me up with visits to museums or art galleries and yummy food every night, but I still missed my parents. One night, I couldn't get any sleep and decided to get some water. As I tiptoed my way to the kitchen, I heard my aunt and Dean talking, and what I heard knocked the wind out of me.
Dean, did you try talking to your father? I'm really worried about Sakura. She misses both of them so much. I know, Aunt Lex, it's just, you know how Dad can be. He's not answering my calls. I think he still hates me. I hope he finds it in his heart to forgive me someday.
Forgive you? He should be the one to realize his mistake. How could he just kick out his own son for falling in love with a boy? He did what? Hearing my voice, Aunt Lexi and Dean turned to me with wide eyes. You're lying, right? Dad wouldn't do that. He even helped his assistant come out to her family.
That's just for the world to see, Sakura. He's always been like this. He pretends to be this modern person, but he's not. It's just the way he was brought up, these traditions.
My whole world came crashing down. I couldn't believe that my dad was capable of doing something like this. He was a completely different person for me now. I was furious, so I went home with Dean the next day to confront my parents. When Mom saw Dean, she hugged him tight.
My Dean, I missed you so much, son.
Just then, Dad walked into the house, and Dean moved away from Mom immediately.
How dare you come back?
I brought him here. Yes, I know you kicked him out. How can you be this two-faced person, Dad? You go around supporting others and being this modern person, but here you are holding back your own children.
Sakura, you have no right.
But I do, Dad. He's my brother, and you kept him away from his family. How did you have the heart to do this to your own son?
He was ready to ruin the name of this family. He is not my son.
How can you say that?
Why, it's the truth. Ask him or your mother.
When I looked at them, they looked pale.
What are you doing? You promised never to bring it up. He left me with no choice. He is breaking apart this family. I loved him and brought him into this house from that orphanage. And this is how he repays me.
What in the father-freaking world? I looked at Dean and instantly knew that Dad was telling the truth. You're adopted? Why did you never tell me?
I found out the day you were born, and you'll always be my little sister. I couldn't hurt you. And Dad, I never meant to hurt you either. But I won't apologize for being who I am and falling in love. I can't believe you still have the nerve to stand in my house and talk to me that way. Get out.
His words made my head spin, and it was then that I heard Mom yell, for the first time.
You are such a cruel person. Congratulations. You yourself broke this family apart. I'm going with my children. You can have all the traditions and your wealth and business, but we are going to live a better life, where we can breathe.
Saying that, Mom took mine and Dean's hands and stormed out of the house. I'd never seen her this angry. We stayed without Lexi for a while until we could figure out what to do. One day, Dean introduced us to his boyfriend, and we loved him. He was kind and yelled at Dean for teasing me and calling me a panda again. I liked this guy. One afternoon, the doorbell rang as we sat down to have lunch. Aunt Lexi entered the room with Dad right behind her. He looked like a mess.
Can I talk to you all, please?
We have nothing to say to you, and I doubt we would want to listen to you. Mom. Dad then began sobbing, and it broke my heart. Dean went and held him. Dad turned and hugged Dean tight.
Son, I'm so sorry. I was rude to you and I shouldn't have done that. I thought what I was doing was right, but it wasn't. You're my son, the future of my house and business. But before all that, you are my son. And then you came along and my world was complete. I hope you'll forgive me. Please forgive me.
I ran toward my dad and hugged him as well. Of course, Dad. We're so glad that you found your way back to us. Everyone in the room was a sobbing mess. Dad agreed to meet Dean's boyfriend one day, and to everyone's surprise, they bonded really well over sports and the fact that they dislike ice cream and loved Grey's Anatomy. Weird. Our family was nowhere close to perfect, but it was much stronger, and that's all I could ask for now.